In this video, we'll create a multiple choice assessment using radio buttons and a form. That should be a form. So I'm going to put a title for our page, and the title won't show in the body, it'll actually show at the top here in the tab. So that's the title. Maybe I won't say create a multiple choice. So that will be a bit more descriptive. Okay, now for the second part here, we would just want to do a heading for our page, so H2, and close it off with a H2. I don't know, I've copied the create part, but we don't want to say that. Okay, we'll start off our form using the form element. Start off like this, and we can end it as well. That's the best thing to do before we forget to do that later on. I will end our form. Now when we save and refresh, nothing happens because we haven't put any elements on our form. So to follow the guide for creating an MCQ assessment, we'll follow the numbers in the comments here from 1 to 5. So we'll start off by writing our question. So I'm going to put the question in a paragraph for now, and I'll just start off with question 1. And the question, I'll just make an easy one, which is the fastest form of transportation. I close off our paragraph, save and refresh. Let's see what that looks like. And our second part would be, for the choices entry, we use the input element to let the browser know we are getting input from the user. So we'll use the input element, and if I save and refresh, we'll be able to see some sort of an input. So the default is a text field. So we'll go to the next part here. Now we want to let the browser know what type of input we're getting using the type attribute. We are specifying a radio button, so therefore the type is radio. So let's use the type attribute to specify that we want a radio button. Now we notice how that changes to a radio button. Now let's put our options. The first one, let's say, is a car. Let's see what that looks like. And so we have a car, and then we can say, is it walking? Is it the plane, or the bus, or the tram? Let's save and refresh. Now we can see all our options there, but I'd like to put a break. For now, let's just go with break like this, and then later on, maybe we can find better ways to represent this. But we've got radio buttons, but we can select all of them. That's not ideal. So for our MCQ question, we want the user to be able to use or to click only or to check only one radio button. So we'll go to point 4 to see what we can do to fix that. To create a group of choices where only one choice can be chosen, the name attribute can be or should be the same for the entire group. So we can use the name attribute to give our question a name, and I'm going to call it question 1. And this should be the same for all our group. Now, since all these radio buttons sort of belong to the same question, we'll give them all the same name, and we'll save and refresh. And now we should be able to select only one option at a time, which is good. All right, now one more thing. Now for each radio button, use a value attribute to describe the choice the user selected that will be stored once the form is submitted. Once this form is submitted, we would like to know what the user has chosen. So you would add a value attribute to describe what choice or what button was chosen. Now this will be helpful to find out later if the user is put the correct choice. So you want the value to be descriptive to the answer. So for walking, I'll say walk. For plane, I'll say plane. Now for the bus, I'll say bus. For the tram, it will also be tram. Okay, so this is not going to change the way our form or our question looks like, but definitely we'll be able to use this information later on when we are doing some JavaScript or PHP or any sort of scripting. Okay, now the last thing we want to do is create a button for the user to be able to submit the form. So we can use the button and specify the type of the button, which is a submit button. And here goes what we want to show on the button, and then we'll close it off with our button element. So we've got a submit button. All right. So I hope this video helps you with writing up your first question. And then for the second question, you can pretty much, what I'll do is I'll copy that, and we'll change our question title, and which is or which of the following is a weekend day in most countries. Now this part, the first part, remains the same. There's all radio. Now the name, this will be a group that belongs to question 2, and let's give our options. So that'll be Monday. We'll change the value to Monday, and we'll say Wednesday, and then we'll say Sunday, which should be our answer. I don't know, probably. And Friday. Notice for displaying purposes I'm capitalizing, but for the value I'm keeping them all lowercase. And Tuesday. Okay, so we make sure we've changed the name, the value attribute, and whatever is displayed to the user. And we've got our second question, and we can choose only one option. Yeah, so notice how when we submit it all resets, and we'll take this in further videos on what happens after we submit. Alright, I hope this helps you, and I'll see you in the next video where we will put a label to these fields where we can just click on the text and the button will be selected. So see you soon.